Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your football predictions, the series where you guys go up against me, see who can get the most correct predictions for the upcoming Premier League football. So those were my predictions up there from the weekend. I was right that Liverpool would beat Aston Villa 2-0. And that was it. So one correct score for me. I did get 3 correct outcomes. I was right that Leicester would beat Crystal Palace, that Man U would beat Bournemouth, and that Chelsea would beat Watford. But as I say, one correct score is not my best work. And as always, you guys did way better than me. I had a handful of people who got 2 correct scores, but just one person got 3 correct scores, and that was David. So well done to you, mate, this week's winner. And another person who comments their predictions on my videos all the time, so I really appreciate the support. And as I say, well done for getting the 3 correct scores. And remember, if you want to be shouted out in my next predictions video, which will be on Friday, be sure to get your predictions down in the comments below. And you haven't got long, because it is Tuesday and there is games on tonight, tomorrow and Thursday. But as always, we will go through all those games now, and you can get your comments in down below. As I say, we are predicting the games tonight for Tuesday, tomorrow for Wednesday, and the day after for Thursday. You haven't got too long to get your predictions in for the games tonight, so if you are watching this tomorrow, Wednesday, and you want to get your predictions in for the Wednesday, Thursday night, that's fine. Just get your predictions in for the games that haven't been on yet, and I'll be sure to try and check them as much as I can, and then things will get a bit easier when I'm back on Friday, because we'll just do the games for the weekend. Alright, predictions in as quick as you can, I suppose, is the message, and we are going to start things off with the first game on tonight at 6 PM on Sky, and it is Crystal Palace taking on Chelsea. Crystal Palace currently sitting in 14th place, 7 points off 7th, outside chance of Europa League spot along with everyone else in the league, it seems. Although I think it is getting a little bit stretched now, and with about 5 games left to go, I think 7 points might just be a little bit too much. And Crystal Palace haven't been on good form either. They've lost their last 3 games in a row, including a 3-0 loss to Leicester at the weekend. And then Chelsea still sitting in 4th place. They're 2 points ahead of Man U, who are in 5th place, and have had a bit of up and down since the Premier League came back. They started off with that fantastic win against Man City, then lost against West Ham, but then came back and beat Watford at the weekend. So Chelsea have had the better form of the 2 teams, and you know, Crystal Palace really are mid-table, not too much to play for now. Chelsea are desperately trying to stay that 2 points ahead of Man U, and I think they're probably going to win this one. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Chelsea. Next game tonight, again at 6 o'clock, and again on Sky, but this one is on Sky Pick, so you can get this one for free. It is Watford taking on Norwich, so proper relegation battle this one. Norwich sitting in 17th place, just 1 point out of the relegation zone. So I've been saying this since we came back from the break. You've got those teams, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Watford. It's looking like it's them 3 now. West Ham have done a great job of beating Chelsea and drawing Newcastle to run away. Same with Brighton. So it looks like it's between them 3 and Norwich, who are sitting bottom of the table. So Watford just 1 point out of it, and they're going to be looking at this as their chance to just jump an extra 3 points ahead. And then Norwich are going to be looking at it as, I think, their last chance to have any chance of avoiding relegation needs to be 3 points in this game. So are we going to get an end-to-end thriller of both teams going for it, or are we going to get 90 minutes of both teams defending, trying desperately not to lose? I think it could go either way. I think Norwich have to go for it, but if they go for it too quick and Watford score, then that's probably their Premier League dream over. So it'll definitely be close. I have edged it to Watford 1-0. But I could see it being 0-0. I could see it being 2-2. Let me know what you think down below. Next up tonight at 8:15 on Sky, we have got Arsenal taking on Leicester. So Arsenal sitting in 7th place. Arsenal well within the shout of Europa League football, no question about that at all. Arsenal basically need to win all their games and just rely on other teams not winning their games, basically. Because Wolves are in there. Man U are smashing it at the minute. Leicester got their first win in ages against Crystal Palace at the weekend, so you don't know. But if Arsenal beat Leicester, that's a big step forward. And then, as I've just mentioned, Leicester are sitting in 3rd place. Really have had a horrendous start since the return of football, but finally turned that around when they beat Crystal Palace 3-0 at the weekend. So, I don't know. and you can tell by my prediction that I don't know, because I've gone 1-1. I think that if Leicester had continued their losing streak, or non-winning streak, they hadn't been losing, they'd been drawing as well, I think I probably would have backed Arsenal. But I just think the fact that Vardy came out, got his 100th goal, a 3-0 win against Crystal Palace, that must just... And that's what I've been saying this whole time, is when you've got someone like Vardy who can score goals, it can just change that quickly, and that could well be what it is for Leicester from now till the end of the season. Flip side, Arsenal have got Aubameyang. They've got players who can score. Saka is looking fantastic, so I don't know. I'm sat on the fence with that one. Next up, tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 6 o'clock on BT Sport, we have got Man City taking on Newcastle. So, Man City actually beat Newcastle a week or so ago in the FA Cup, so they will have that little bit of confidence to think, we've already done it, we can do it again. But at the same time, their league form has been all over the shop. They lost to Chelsea, then came back and had that fantastic win against Liverpool, 4-0, which I don't think too many people saw coming. I think Liverpool were probably still on the drink from winning the league, or it looked that way, to be honest. But what a win for Man City. And then lost against Southampton at the weekend. And I know Southampton have looked good and Danny Ings has been incredible, but I didn't quite see them beating Man City 1-0. So Man City are a bit all over the shop at the minute. And then Newcastle, as I say, did lose against Man City in the Cup a week or so ago, but their league form has actually been not bad at all. One of the best, probably. Coming back with a win, 3-0 win over Sheffield United, drawing with Aston Villa, then a 4-1 win against Bournemouth, and then a 2-2 draw with West Ham. So if you're going to keep that formula, win, draw, win, draw, win against Man City, hopefully. So yeah, there's no denying Man City are the better team. Newcastle don't have a great record at the Etihad, understandably, like most teams in the Premier League. I think the thing with Newcastle was when we played them in the FA Cup, we just tried to defend and not concede and nick it at the end. And although I understand that tactic, it wasn't fun to watch. And I just think, Newcastle, we've stayed in the Premier League. Like, what have we got to lose? Fair enough if we've got... And it'll show whether Steve Bruce was right or wrong first time round. If we go out and play 4-3-3, like we have the last few games, and get battered off Man City, then he can turn around and go, I defended last time for a reason. If he goes out and goes full attack this time, and we actually do something, then at least as fans we can think we had a go. As for a prediction, I'd love to see Newcastle, and this is the thing, City haven't been on great form. Maybe Newcastle do have a chance. I've actually not been biased for a change, and I've gone 2-1 Man City. I feel like I'm betraying my own team by saying that, Hopefully I'm wrong. Next up again, tomorrow night, again at 6 o'clock, but this one is on Sky. We have got Sheffield United taking on Wolves. So Sheffield United sitting in 9th place, had a terrible restart to the Premier League. One of the first teams to play when they drew with Aston Villa and they scored and it wasn't allowed because the goal line technology didn't work. And to be honest, from that moment on, did not get any better. They were on some really poor form, but then turned it round and beat Spurs, and then at the weekend got a draw against Burnley. So after some very poor results, dropping them down into 9th place, at least they managed to get some points on the board. Wolves are sitting in 6th place, had a fantastic start. I think had won every game since the restart until the weekend when they lost against Arsenal. And that was a big game as well because it was 6th and 7th place facing each other, and Arsenal came out on top. I actually think I went 2-2 in my prediction, but I thought that maybe Wolves would have had it. I was wrong. Arsenal showed what they could do, and Wolves came off worse. Because Sheffield United have picked themselves up in the last couple of games, will make this for quite an interesting one. Although I think with Jimenez, I think Wolves have always got a goal in them. I've gone 1-0 Wolves. Next up again tomorrow night, again at 6 o'clock, and this one must be on a different BT channel. We have got West Ham taking on Burnley. So West Ham sitting in 16th place, 4 points clear of the drop zone. I mentioned earlier the fact that they got that fantastic win against Chelsea, followed it up with a draw against Newcastle. And as I say, it's literally been 1 point in it for the relegation zone since we came back from the break. Five games ago or whatever it was. So the fact that it has moved that little in what feels like, 2 to 3 weeks, I think now that they are 4 points clear, they're going to be feeling quite good about themselves. And the fact that they've got Burnley, which I think they'll probably look at as a very winnable game, followed up by, I think they've got Norwich, they've got Villa last game of the season, they've got Watford as well. So I think West Ham have got a very nice string of games to play, and even if they could just pick up a hand, like 3 draws, I think that would be enough points to see them safe. I think 4 points could well be enough as it is, but a few more definitely wouldn't hurt. And then Burnley sitting in 10th place, very mid-table, obviously sitting 10th. Their last few games, they lost against City, but then they beat Watford and Crystal Palace, and then they drew with Sheffield United. So, very, very good form. A loss against City is nothing to be ashamed of. Great wins against Watford and Crystal Palace, and a draw against Sheffield United. For a prediction, I've just gone 1-1. And the final game on the Wednesday on Sky at 8:15, we have got Brighton taking on Liverpool. So Brighton sitting in 15th place, following the return of the Premier League. They got a fantastic win against Arsenal, a draw and against Leicester, which was pretty much what they needed to get out of the relegation battle, to be honest. They then went on to lose against Man U, and then I think really sealed it at the weekend with a win against Norwich. Now 9 points clear of the relegation zone, which, I don't think they're mathematically safe, but as I was saying, I think West Ham are probably safe with 4 points ahead. For Brighton to be 9 points clear now, I think they will be very happy about that one. And then Liverpool sitting in first place. I joked about this earlier, whether they'd been drinking or were already on holiday when they played Man City. But they did come back and give Aston Villa a 2-0 beating at the weekend. So I think it could be the other way around, to be honest. I think Liverpool have had their jolly and are probably ready to try and finish the season in style now. Brighton now 9 points clear after a win against Norwich at the weekend. I think they've probably got the pints out on the beach instead. So I've gone 2-0 to Liverpool. Moving on to the Thursday night at 6 o'clock on Sky Pick. So this is another game you can grab for free. We have got Bournemouth taking on Spurs. So Bournemouth sitting in 19th place, 1 point off Watford, who are in 17th, which means 1 point away from safety. And you guys must feel it as well, because I do. I feel like a broken record talking about this 1 point stuff. But we saw what West Ham did. Fantastic win against Chelsea. Boom. Draw against Newcastle, 4 points clear. It's literally that easy. I just can't believe how tight it is down the bottom. Like these teams, like unfortunately Bournemouth just can't seem to buy a win at the minute. It just isn't going right for them. They lost heavily against Man U at the weekend, but Man U are playing very well. But they also lost 4-1 against Newcastle. And I mean, yes, we have been playing quite well, but there's a lot better teams in the Premier League than us. I'll tell you that for free. So they're going to have another tough game against Spurs. Spurs sitting in 8th place, 1 point off 7, 4 points off 6th. And again, depending on what happens with the Man City FA Cup stuff, 8th place could well be a Europa League spot this year as well. So I think definite shout of Europa League, but 9 points off 4th. Unfortunately, it's possible. You just don't know what might happen. So who's me to say, but it's going to be very tough. And again, it's like what I said about Arsenal. Spurs literally need to win every game from now till the end of the season and just hope that other people aren't winning their games. And if 5th place becomes a Champions League spot because Man City aren't allowed to play in it, then I think that's where they've got the best shout. Spurs drew against Everton at the weekend and haven't been on the greatest of form either. However, I think Bournemouth have been on much worse form, really aren't playing too good, so I'm going to go Spurs win 1-0. Next up again on the Thursday, again it's 6 o'clock, but this one is on Amazon, and it is free on Amazon. So if you're able to get it online, or get it on your smart telly, you can watch this game for free as well. So that's 2 games on Thursday for free, which is pretty good going. Everton taking on Southampton. So Everton sitting in 11th place. Mid-table. Pretty decent form. They'll be happy with the draw they got against Liverpool. Win against 3rd place Leicester is not bad going at all. And I didn't actually see the Spurs game last night. I think it was an own goal. I saw Lloris and Son fighting at half time, so I don't really know what went on there. Whether it was a good game or not, I'm guessing it possibly wasn't if it was a own goal for the win. And then Southampton, 13th place. I don't know what has come over them since the return of football. They've looked brilliant. Danny Ings scoring goals for fun and beating City 1-0. So I've actually backed Southampton to win 1-0 in this game. As I say, to be honest, I think both teams could well just go and sit on, if it's a nice day, just get the deck chairs out, put them on the pitch and just have a bit of a laze around and take the 0-0. You know, I don't think there's too much going on for either team now. But as I say, Danny Ings has looked brilliant, so I'm going to go 1-0 Danny Ings goal. And the final game on Thursday at 8:15 on Sky, we have got Aston Villa taking on Manchester United. So I mentioned this just before. Aston Villa down in the relegation zones in 18th place. Again, 1 point off Watford, 1 point off safety. In terms of form since the return, they've picked up 2 draws. That's 2 points. One was against Sheffield United, first game. One was against Newcastle. So it's points on the board. You know, 2 or 3 more draws could well be enough to keep them in the Premier League. But Man U, 5th place, 2 points off 4th. I mean, I think they were picking up some form before the break. And then since the break, Fernandes has pretty much seemingly just transformed this team into a winning machine. They've looked fantastic, scoring goals for fun. Greenwood, he's got like 15 goals this season. Absolute madness. They have looked very good indeed. 5-2 against Bournemouth at the weekend. And as I say, 2 points off 4th place. Villa need points. And there's every chance if, you know, they defend for their lives. If Grealish can try and create something going forward, you know, it's 11 versus 11 and there's always a chance. But I just think Man U have been so good. And as I say, scoring so many goals, I've gone for quite a big one. I've gone 3-0 to Man U. So let me know what you think about that and all of the other games down in the comments below. And that is it, guys. So those are my predictions up there. Be sure to get your predictions for all of these games down in the comments below. I will go through all of them before the games kick off tonight at 6 o'clock. So you've got between now and later today to get your predictions in, which is not very long at all. So be sure to get them in as quick as you can. And as I've said, if you are watching this video later tonight or tomorrow morning, get your predictions in for the games that haven't kicked off yet, or even if you're 5-10 minutes late, just get them in. I will make a note of everyone's predictions. I will keep an eye out from now all the way until Thursday night, so that nobody misses out. You'll just have less games to predict. But as I say, there's 3 games on Thursday night. This week's winner got 3 correct scores, so you might not get a prediction in for all the games, but you could still very well win the video. So get all your predictions in down below. And as I say, I will be back on Friday for definite, because we will be predicting the weekend games as well. So as always, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a like if you are enjoying these prediction videos, and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to be alerted when these prediction videos go out, because as I say, you've not had too long to get the predictions in for today. But yeah, as I say, enjoy the games over the next few days. Fingers crossed for Newcastle against Man City, and I will be back on Friday to shout out the winner and go through the predictions for the weekend's football. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.